Welcome to this week's video. Another beautiful day at Myers Racing. Bobby was gracious enough to bless us with his presence today to come shoot our video. I do want to thank Bobby Gray first and foremost for all he does with these videos. I know it's tough for him to get off work and come all the way down here, and you know, when we have a pretty easy week, we can kind of meet in the middle or you know, meet somewhere with the corks, caps, and taps or somewhere like that, and try to make it a little bit different, a little more interesting. But we're pretty slammed this week. We had some motor issues, of course, Saturday night. We had to park, but you know, it was out of our hands. I was gonna try to ride it out and finish the race best we could, but when we busted the radiator and all the water came out, it wasn't worth blowing up a very expensive motor to try to finish. And once they started having all those cautions, we knew we had to park. But we'll get back to the first of the night. We had a pretty good qualifying effort. We ended up qualifying second, but they draw the top 6 for the 50 lappers, so we ended up drawing fourth. I got my little lucky charm Emma to go in there and draw for me again, and the last 50 lapper, she drew the pole for me, and we ran 50 laps with no caution. So I figured I figured the tables would be a little more turned this time, and sure enough, she drew fourth for me, and Burt and Danny drew first and second. So, you know, I knew we were going to have our hands full, and you know, I was hoping just to be able to get up there and race with them and see what we had, but we never actually made it. By the time we got back to third, after the wreck we were involved in, the race was pretty much over with. So we started, I think, 5th on one of the restarts, and the cars in front of me got jammed together and they stopped going. And you know, when you see the car in front of you not going and you back out of the gas, the guy behind you, he doesn't realize what's going on, and he's in the gas, so he's pushing you through the car in front of you. And I mean, it was a weird situation because my car ran into the car in front of me and went up over the guardrail on 2 wheels and came down, and I never touched the gas the whole time. The car actually cut off because I was out of the gas for so long. And I actually, you know, we were so lucky in that first race, because when the car went up on the guardrail and came down, I actually thought it was done. You know, I thought our night was pretty much over right there. And the car was just barely rolling, so I jammed it in gear and let the clutch out so that it would crank back up without having to use the starter, and it fired up, and we took off and didn't seem to have any problems. And you know, we lost a few positions. I think we got shuffled back to about 6th in that wreck, but like I said, we were fortunate the car wasn't torn up too bad to finish the race. So we ended up 6th, passed a couple cars on the outside. The car was phenomenal on the outside Saturday night. I mean, I tell you, when this thing is good like it was Saturday, it's so much fun to drive. But we got back to 3rd. Burt ended up winning. Congratulations to those guys. They kind of started off strong this year and then had a little dry spell on wins, but you know, it's Burt Myers. You never count out Burt Myers at Bowman Gray. So like I said, congratulations to those guys. Danny had a good run. He ended up 2nd, and we ended up 3rd. But we ended up spending the whole time during the limited race before the second 50 lapper working on the car, because we found several things bent and some brake issues in the front. The nose was torn off of it. We didn't have time to put a nose back on it, so we had to run without the nose, which left the radiator exposed. And I knew that might be an issue, but the radiator was bent and twisted up anyway, so we had to put a radiator on for the next week regardless. So we rolled the dice and took our chances and started the second race with no front nose on with the radiator exposed, but it ended up costing us. I think it was the Nerf bar off of Mike Bone's car. I saw something fly up in the air, but you know, it's like driving down the road and you see a bird flying at your windshield. You can't swerve to miss it. You just gotta hope it doesn't hit you to where it's gonna mess you up. And sure enough, it hit right in the radiator and busted the radiator. And I knew what happened when it happened, because we lost all the water temperature and the water pressure. So I knew the radiator was busted. But like I said earlier, we tried to finish the race the best we could and just try to salvage as many points as possible. So once the last caution came out, I knew we better park, so hopefully we wouldn't ruin the motor. And so far so good on the motor. We pulled it out and took it down to George Gable's first thing Monday morning, and we're actually going to pick it up this evening after we do our video to get it back in the car and get it ready for this weekend. And the motor's not hurt, so we should be okay. We just got our hands full, got a lot of work to do. But you know, these cars are not just about racing them; they're about working on them too. So we're a little behind with Bristol being this week. We're obviously not running Bristol just for motor reasons and financial reasons, and I hate it. I hate to have to go to Bristol and watch, but you know, sometimes you got to do what you have to do. So really, this week we're focused on getting ready for Bowman Gray and trying to win that championship, and just kind of put Bristol off till next year. So we'll go up and help Burt, and hopefully they'll have a little luck and have a good run at Bristol. But we'll get this thing ready, and we'll go over there Saturday. And I think we're 13 points behind, Bobby. 13 points behind. I don't know how much people pay attention to how the points work, but the last race is 4 points per position. So if I win, I have to beat Danny because I'm only 1 point ahead of Danny. So between me and Danny, it's whoever finishes in front of the other one. But with Lee has to finish 5th, excuse me, if I win the race. So there's got to be 3 cars between us. So, I mean, it's doable, but we're going to go over there with the same strategy we've had all year. We're going to try to sit on the pole and lead every lap and win the race. And if I do that, we'll end up with the most laps led, the most poles, and the most wins. And I told my guys this week, if I can qualify on the pole, lead every lap, and win the race, I won't be disappointed if I lose the championship. There are certain scenarios that will make it very disappointing if I do lose the championship. But if we go over and race as hard as we can and win the race, I won't be disappointed if we lose. So we'll just keep our heads up and go over there with the best that we got and see if we can't come home with another trophy.